Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, so first of all, Shooting it raw. Thank you, Andrea Richey, for joining me on this very last minute ad hoc. Let's just screw it. Let's do it.
Thank you, Rand, for having me. My pleasure to be here again.
Great. So just to give some background, we live in a world where the only or the best way to kind of really increase the audience of something or to whatever, it takes marketing, it takes spending, it takes money, and even outside of that. So if I'm thinking about the podcast, so I'm trying to put some good in the world. And the question is, well, how can I get more people to discover it? And what works really well is when I pay for either YouTube promotions or whatever. And so I thought, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll do a fundraiser. And then I thought, well, let's share that spotlight. And I thought, who can I help as well? Now I know the tough job it is to be committed to protecting sharks, marine conservation, all that stuff. And we're friends. And yeah, if I can help Hong Kong Shark Foundation, I will. And this is me trying to. So that's why I invited you. That's why I'm doing this photo challenge, Pets for Sharks. So Andrea, how you doing? Thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you, Rand, for coming up with this fantastic idea and also being so passionate and so open to helping not just Hong Kong Shark Foundation, but other people and organizations to spread the word, whatever their cause might be.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag PetsforSharks is a fantastic idea. I love it. Of course, you and I are kind of both farmers, and we're always planting those seeds of change.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really an honor to be back on Shooting It Raw and talking with you about where we are for Hong Kong Shark Foundation in terms of education and what kind of initiatives we're working on, but just how great it is to team up with a like-minded soul who's compassionate and kind.
Aren't you the sweetest? Thank you. Yeah, we're just going to get to sort of how this came to be. And okay, so from my experience with shark rescue, I know very well that it's like, what are you making? You're basically making a change in mindset in people to make a difference. And so why don't you talk about your challenges? Because you're fully dedicated to Hong Kong Shark Foundation. And what are your challenges in terms of survival?
Well, I think that the challenge that we face is helping people, educating people to understand how their actions have consequences.
Okay.
And then how to change those actions so that we can have a better reaction, a better action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's not littering or using less plastic or recycling, reducing and reusing before you get to even recycling, or whether it's not going to a SeaWorld or ocean park that exploits animals in solidarity with animals like sharks and dolphins and other fish that are in those aquariums. Every little bit helps, and every little bit adds up. Dr. Sylvia Earle said, not everybody can do everything, but everyone can do something. And I think that's really important. We all have to try to do something to better the planet.
Amen. So here's the thing. Okay, so, Shooting It Raw is basically me meeting with people, sharing their stories, and hopefully, inspiring people by their stories. Essentially think beyond who they are and what they think they can do, and just to make every second count. And so when I look at Hong Kong Shark Foundation, I think, like, if somebody's listening to it from Savannah, Georgia, or listening to it from Vancouver, or listening to it from South Africa, from Joburg, or wherever, why should they care about Hong Kong Shark Foundation? It's just Hong Kong.
That's a great question, because what we're experiencing right now is a global shark crisis. Over 100 million sharks are killed globally every year just for their fins. And marine biologists estimate that more than 350 million sharks are killed now for their liver, their skins, their meat, and their fins.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a global shark crisis that people don't even realize that they are contributing to the destruction of the species. And let's step back a second. Well, why do we even need sharks? Well, sharks are apex predators at the top of the food chain. And to make it really simple, we call them the cleaners of the ocean. And those sharks are helping us to maintain that delicate marine ecosystem balance. And so they keep the biodiversity alive. They help fight climate change because their bodies are massive carbon sinks. They regulate the populations. We get 50% of our air and our oxygen from the ocean. We absolutely need clean oceans. And so sharks play a major role in maintaining those ecosystems. So without them, it would be like a Jenga. You have a collapse in the marine ecosystem. So why is it important to maintain that? Why do we need them? And if you're sitting in Georgia, you might think, oh, well, it doesn't affect me. But the United States is one of the biggest exporters of shark in the world. It doesn't necessarily come from the United States, Florida, California, two places with abundant coasts, but it's a big transshipment place.
Yep.
And so there is a new 2021, the Shark Fin Elimination Act. And so that is now in effect. You can't buy, purchase, sell shark fins, but that doesn't mean you can't land a whole shark and then take it. So, there are loopholes in it, but we need to care no matter where we are in the world. And we need to try to do little things like just saying no to shark products. Maybe a lot of your listeners are thinking that this is a Chinese problem or thinking that this is something that is only indigenous to people in Asia. But in fact, that's not true. It's just the fins are the most coveted and sold for the highest price. But now people are realizing they can take the liver and make squalene. We call it squalene, and put it in supplements where it unscientifically says on the side of the box it's anti-fatigue, it helps with cancer, etc.
A little everything, yeah.
It's a little bit. It's definitely a panacea, and there's shark liver oil in many women's lipstick and moisturizers and makeup. So I highly recommend that if you're buying women's makeup, you should look at the label. Read the label, look for squalene, right? Because people don't even realize it's in there. Most of the world's fish and chips now is shark meat.
Yep.
It's lemon fish in the UK. Sorry, lemon fish in New Zealand. Flake, it's called in Australia. Rock salmon in the UK. So it's very common. It's so common that people don't even know they're eating it.
Exactly.
So we need to be aware that it's not just us here in Hong Kong, even though 50% of the global shark fin trade does come through here in Hong Kong. Some remain, some is re-exported to other parts of Asia. But the reality is that people are eating shark everywhere in the world. Korea and South Korea and Indonesia are quite big consumers of shark, not just shark fin soup. And second in the world is Italy. Italy is second in the world, number one in Europe for having shark products. And the shark products they have are in the makeup industry, in the leather industry, because they take the skin of the shark, but they also take the meat of the shark. So they're not really eating shark fin soup in Italy, but they're taking the meat and making something called ceviche, right? And that also happens in Portugal, Greece, Turkey,
Spain, probably.
Spain.
Yep.
Exactly. So a lot of the sharks that we get here in Hong Kong don't come from, almost 100% of the sharks you can buy in Hong Kong don't come from Hong Kong.
Of course.
The reason for that is we don't have sharks in Hong Kong anymore.
Yeah.
The reason why? we overfished the sharks. We
Mm-hmm.
commercially overfished the sharks, killed out all the species, and then we commercially overfished the fish, so
Yeah.
they have nothing to eat. So even if they come back.
Yeah.
So countries like South Korea, Indonesia, Italy, and the number one consumer of shark in the world is Brazil.
Oh.
And most people wouldn't realize that. And, Hong Kong is a big consumer of seafood. In fact, we're second largest consumer of seafood in Asia, eighth largest consumer in the world. Hong Kongers average around 67 kilos per seafood per year.
Mm-hmm.
And Brazil is very much the same.
Oh,
Why?
well.
Easy access to the ocean, lots of seafood in their culture, having been a colony of Portugal.
Yeah.
And they have a large population, more than 221 million. And a lot of those people struggle to find a reasonably priced food.
Yeah.
So shark meat is a cheaper alternative and thus has become popular, which has driven up the consumption levels, which has driven them to be number one in the world.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that excellent sort of resume or a review of kind of like why people way beyond Hong Kong should care. Now, let's talk about the fundraiser. Like if somebody gives and it comes to like, so what in my mind, I thought, okay, well, what I'm going to do is half of it, of whatever I raise is going to Shark Foundation. So for me, somebody could be like, yeah, you're just a guy who's running a podcast who's just going to sink the money into promoting and advertising. But the flip side is HKSF is a proper charity. Legally speaking, though, that's only good for people who give within Hong Kong, right? Like somebody in North America who gives or in Europe who gives can't exactly claim any of that for tax purposes.
Yes, that is true. And if people want to make a donation, that's fantastic. We really appreciate that. Again, that goes to support our Shark Ambassador education program, which reaches out annually to about 10,000 students to educate
Nice.
them on shark conservation. And if the driving force for them is they want to get a tax deductible receipt and they don't live in Hong Kong, then there are ways we can do it. But I think, that's not the purpose of this fundraiser today.
Yep.
This fundraiser is actually Pets4Sharks is really about local people taking your pets out and together raising awareness for a great cause. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not the only great cause. The good that Shooting It Raw does to educate people on a wide variety of topics is super important. Again, education, right? I
Yeah.
think you and I, as I said before, are both farmers. We're both planting those seeds, and you're a social enterprise,
Mm-hmm.
and we're a charity. So we're very grateful that you have chosen us to partner up. But we think that focusing here, and so people realize that it's really easy to take action and give back
Yeah.
and make a difference.
Yes. So I'm just going to grab the mic right back and say, yeah, this is all about we have one life. How do we spend our seconds? How do we make the most? How to make every second count? And this is going to be a short one. I just wanted to have you on to get people riled up, to get people fired up about giving and participating. Hashtag Pets4Sharks. And already some photos have been coming in. So it's really sweet. It's really sweet. People with their dogs outside. I mean, I think it'd be nice to have dogs, cats, ferrets, rabbits, snakes, whatever. It's about just having fun with our companions and also raising awareness.
Yeah, and I think it really brings together a sense of community. And,
Mm-hmm.
take your pets out. Now you can dress your pets up too, by the way. Put a little shark outfit on them, and if we're able to remember, our mission is 5 words: raise awareness about shark conservation. And if we're able to do that through fun campaigns like the one you've come up with, then more power to us. And people want to give back a lot of times, and they don't
Yep.
know how. They got a busy life.
Mm-hmm.
They've got kids. They got to go to school. They got to go to work. So maybe when you're taking your dog for a walk, take a picture
Yep.
and dress them up if you want to, and show them that your pets are in solidarity with the Shark Foundation. And it's about kindness to animals. I mean, that's what animal activism is
Yep.
all about.
Yep.
Being kind and giving back. And it all comes back and gets us, I think. So
Right.
we are grateful and we're excited, and it's the whole month of May. And you can find our website at www Hong Kong Shark Foundation, but we're on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter. So if you want to know more about us, you can check us out.
Yeah.
And it's a great initiative, easy to do, and it allows people to give back and do some good.
Well said. Thank you so much for making this really easy for me, Andrea. Listen, we're gonna blow the roof off. We're gonna raise tons of money, and then that way we can both do our work. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Ran.
Bye.
Bye.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting